like a
Like photos, I wake up to you in the morning. Always a craving, you know that I want it. Beat it up, baby, you know that I own it. Fresh out the shower, you're rubbing on lotion.
Hey, what's going on, gang? Welcome to the Hot Minute Podcast today. I look forward to sharing this space with you again, as usual. Thank you for tuning in when you get a chance. Like I say, normally if it's in the morning, in the evening, whatever time, thanks for tuning in. So, first and foremost, I want to know, how's your week going? You do anything special over the weekend? Or you do anything special over the week? Well, anyways, so I had a very interesting month. I want to talk about a couple things that's going on in my life right now. One of them is some facts that this month I had to step down from my position at work. Sucks, but I understand it's the business. I get it. It's the nature of the beast. It was a hard decision to make at the end of the day. One I wasn't looking forward to making so soon, so quickly. But things happen. Businesses are gonna do what they need to do for themselves, and you gotta act accordingly as well. But at the end of the day, I'm thankful to still have a job. It came with a pretty steep pay cut, but the way I look at it, sometimes you gotta take that pay cut to have peace, right? We don't know what could have happened if I would have kept on going with the position. It could have went either way, right? So it's the one thing I will say that I'm thankful that I'm thankful to still have my job. But the thing is, though, the pay cut, my step down from my position currently, I'm a team lead, or merch lead is what they call it at my job. I'm not gonna name my job, but I am a merch lead, and if you know me, you know. But the way I look at it, man, at the end of the day, you're still getting some type of money, right? It don't matter what it is. At least you're getting paid, because in this economy right now, it's so tough out here, man. You gotta take what you can get at the moment until better comes, right? We never know what the economic climate holds for us during this time. But the way I look at it, another way I started looking at it too, at first when I was told about my position being eliminated, because we can only hold one lead in my department, I was really defeated. It was devastating. I'm like, man, I've been here for 10 years, and it should be the second time something like this happened to me at this job. But then and the funny thing is, though, I went and talked to my mom, because I talked to my mom about like a lot of stuff. It was like my best friend. The advice she gave me, I couldn't really understand or grasp at the time. But when I sat back and analyzed it and I thought about it, sometimes you got to take a step down and take a step up in the direction you need to go. The one thing I realized about this position is that I'm in is that it gives me an opportunity to look towards new opportunities and actually build what I already got as far as my business goes. That's something I didn't really. I wasn't looking on the bright side of time. Like I said, I was really down about everything, but it really opened my eyes when I started thinking about it. Now I kind of focus on things that I know I need to focus on that I wasn't so much focused on at first. So it gave me the opportunity to do things that I know I should have been doing in the beginning. But sometimes it be like that, man. You don't really think about it. And, at the end of the day, I am still thankful to still have a job, like I said again. But this opened my eyes again, opened my mind to actually use the gifts that God gave me to become more, create more passive income for myself, being a creative. Because sometimes you get so complacent with jobs and everything else that you forget about the talents that you have and what you're sitting on. But you think, okay, well, I'm getting paid an hourly wage and I'm making a pretty good pay, and it's cool. So we forget about the towns that we sit on and things that we sleep on daily. So this is what I want to tell you, man. never forget about any talent you have, skill, whatever, because you can make money that way too. So don't ever think you're stuck in a box because you're working a job, because you're really not. It's a circumstance of the moment. Okay, so speaking of stepping down, man, it's what call for a story time today. So what I want to talk about is it's funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time when everything went down. But when I was in college, I want to talk about a time where I actually lost my job. Um, I never forget that, man. That also opened my eyes up too, man. But like I say once again, you don't think about this stuff until it actually happens. So you gotta expect the unexpected. In the wise words of Gucci Mane, expect the unexpected, but I'm not using the explicit language that he used in the end. But anyway, so yeah, and the funny thing, I got let go
on my birthday. That was
the most craziest part about everything, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's November. My birthday, November 15th. By the way, it's coming out soon, eventually, in the next couple months. But anyway, so I'm sitting there like I'm so happy, bro. Like so I'm talking to my best friend, telling her, hey, dog, it's my birthday week. You know what I'm saying? I'm just planning everything. I'm thinking about what we gonna do that weekend and everything, man. You know what I'm saying? And it was cool all week long. Ain't nobody saying that. I'm talking to my manager. I'm talking to all my coworkers. And the day of my birthday, I kid you not, bro, my boss came to me. I knew it was funny because he looked at me kind of crazy. I was like, why you look at me like that? But anyways, he said, hey man, what's going on? I said, nothing. He said, let's take a walk. I'm like, okay. He's like, oh, how much longer you got at school? I'm like, I just really started. Like, I'm a 19-year-old college freshman. Yeah, I had a late birthday, but anyway, so yeah, I'm thinking it's just so weird. We just walking, we just talking. So we get to this room. I see the campus director and I see some lady that was in charge of something. I can't remember what she was in charge of, but she was like some executive of the company. Now, mind you, now this is a private owned company, so I'm working, and I'm not gonna name the company either because that's not nobody's business to know where this place was at. But came in there, sat in that room, and I was just like, why we even here? You know what I'm saying? So she said, hey, how are you? I said, I'm good. How about you? She said, well, we had to make a tough decision, and since you're the newest person here, we gotta let you go. Dog, when I tell you, it seemed like and this is on my birthday, bro. I actually worked on my birthday because I didn't request at all. But listen, that was probably one of the most devastating moments in my life at the time. Like I said, it's my first job, like second job, because I had a job with Caesar, but let's not go there. Anyways, it's a job that actually was making me some moolah, you know what I'm saying, making money off this job. And man, you talking about devastated, bro, on my birthday, bro. On my birthday. That job was crazy. So I stormed out the room, bro, like just upset, super upset, man. Like, dang. Out of all the people, me, I'm a hard worker. That job don't matter. No, it didn't matter. They didn't care. But anyway, so like I'm saying, bro, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was messed up, dog. I was messed up about that for a good little minute. And it took me some time to really realize that it's just life. But the funny part about it was, so I storm out the building, right? I go get all my stuff, and this dude, I guess he was like the food and beverage manager or whatever. He tried to stop me from coming in. I'm like, bro, you don't get out my way, I'm gonna push you over. And he put his hand on me. I just threw him. And guess what he did? He took off running, like he thought I was gonna come do something to him. I was like, bro, I don't play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just let me come get my stuff so I can go. So then, you know, my boss called me again. He's like, listen, man, I'm sorry we had to do this. And I wasn't really trying to hurt none of that, man. It was what it was. But that taught me something, though, man. Which I'm gonna tie into my next session in this pod. But it taught me something. In the wise words of Future, Biff, don't get too comfortable. All right, man. So now we hit the session what I want to call real spill. And like I said before, when I said my story time, what we call this is once again the wise word of Future, don't get too comfortable. And what I mean by that is basically, you know, we get comfortable and everything else with everything we got on in life. We get this nice job and we get this nice pay, but then we get complacent and we don't strive to actually move the marker, you know what I'm saying? And that's where we go wrong at. So what I'm saying is, when we say don't get too comfortable, try to learn something new. Try to challenge yourself every day when you wake up, man. You know what I'm saying? Read a new book, learn a new skill, somehow, some way. Make time out your day to actually learn that skill or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? You should never want to be too comfortable because you just never know what can happen. Perfect example. Me having to step down. Me at a younger age being let go from a job that I really liked. So yeah, the less you stay in the comfort zone, the better off you'll be. And listen, I said this on my social media, but on my Facebook, I said sometimes we get put in positions where we are forced to level up and become better in what we're doing. Like I say, I know it's tough to actually hear that, but sometimes it's the push you need, whether you know it or not. It might sound like it's a crazy thought, but it's really not at the end of the day, man. You got to think about everything you got going on in your life and how it's going. Sometimes complacency can literally ruin your life. You're comfortable, you know what I'm saying? You think can't nothing ever happen to you, and it can. And that's where it's important to understand that the life you live ain't guaranteed. The money you make ain't guaranteed. Everything you do in life is not guaranteed. You're just blessed enough to actually have that position right now. So make yourself uncomfortable sometimes. Do things you've never done before and get good at it. Get so good at it that if something was to happen on a job or just to you in general, that you'll have that skill or trade or whatever it is that can carry you over to the next transition in your life. I know, like I said, once again, it is a hard thing to cope with, knowing that your comfortability is being taken away from you. You have to learn how to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. So being comfortable is great, but don't never get too comfortable. Always remember, everything that you do in life changes. The world is a revolving thing. Everything in the world is revolving. Nothing's staying the same. Even if you want to, it's not going to stay the same. You know, that's why to me that song, whether people like Future or not, or whether you listen to rap or whatever else, it's a very powerful song. And I really would recommend listening to it if you get a chance. Like I said, I'm not promoting anything. I want you to understand that comfortability can be your worst enemy. It's not your best friend, I promise you it's not. Like I said, I learned the valuable lesson that when it's time for a company to make the changes and move how they need to move, they're gonna make them uncomfortable decisions, whether you like it or not. So you gotta be cool with what's coming, and you gotta understand. You gotta find a way to adapt to what they doing too. It's life is not always about what you want to do, man. Sometimes it's about what needs to be done. It's like the same thing going to college. You know what I'm saying? You comfortable with the degree you're going into, and for instance, you might not actually work in that field. You gotta be comfortable making a transition sometimes to another side of a degree. What you can use that degree for, whatever it is. Because comfortability has done myself, I say myself also, more harm than it has good. So I'm open book when I say a lot of stuff. I tell people the truth because I want people to understand that I go through things like everybody else do. I'm not superhuman. I'm only one person. But yeah, man, listen. Once again, I'm going to say it again. I want you to understand. Never get too comfortable. Always strive to be the best at something else besides what you're already doing. So now we're hitting a section of the actual podcast where I want to talk to my creatives, photographers, videographers, personalities, whatever. The one thing I want to tell you guys is learn to use whatever equipment you have. And until you can afford to get the things you need to get to the production you're looking to get towards, I know it's hard sometimes. People think that their equipment is not good enough sometimes to actually get into where they want to be at. But trust me, it is. I'm gonna show y'all something real quick on about a photographer. His name is Prince. He's from Africa, of course, and he prefers to use a iPhone to take photos, as you see. He's an award-winning photographer. But what I'm saying is, though, man, look, you gotta be cool with using what you got until you can get better, right? I know this equipment is expensive and it's time-consuming, and you spend all this money and you feel like you're not making any progress. Well, sometimes it take a while to actually see growth with your skill. You can ask so many people how they first started off, and it wasn't the best in the world, right? You gotta be cool with that, man. You gotta embrace that, man. You know what I'm saying? Embrace what you got, because everybody ain't gonna be fed a silver spoon, man. I know I wouldn't. I mean, listen, I shot with a DSLR when I first started taking pictures back in 2013. No, man, it wasn't 2013, 2012, I can't remember. But I started shooting pictures with a point and shoot camera, and I actually shot video with that point and shoot camera at the time. I thought I was the man, you know what I'm saying? I had Sony Vegas, that was the choice at the time. It was cool, you know what I'm saying? It got the job done, it did everything I needed to do. I was still learning, but I started. It's the first thing to every part of this creative world is you have to just start. You gotta start somewhere. And believe it or not, like I say, showing y'all that this guy should give you more than enough motivation to use your phone. Because actually, believe it or not, your phone is probably one of the most powerful tools you can actually use, whether it's a Android or whether it's an iPhone. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I actually shoot this podcast off of my iPhone 14. No, I'm not buying another iPhone. I'm not finna give Apple that much more money. But anyways, and it looks to me, I like the color of it. I can't speak for everybody else. I say I like the color of it. But I will say that you have to just use what you got until you can get better, right? And once you get what you're looking for, that's when everything will change for you. Until then, man, remember, You gotta embrace that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? This stuff costs a lot of money. So anything you buying to help with your creative journey is only going to enhance and also make you grateful for what you have already. Because you went through what we call, well, I'm not gonna say the struggle. Well, it is a struggle, but you went through the struggle and you embraced that struggle. And now you sitting over here, you sitting at the top now because you didn't take anything for granted. You used everything you had to its best ability. Well, I think that for most people, it's hard for them to accept that, but you have to embrace it. If you are a creator, you have to understand that everything you're gonna buy is gonna help to better your skill set and what you got going on. So never think because you're shooting with an iPhone, never think because you're shooting point and shoot camera that you're not creating, because you are creating something. And it's got to be special to you before it's special to anybody else. What you put on this internet or whatever it is you put it on. You have to like what you're doing more so than somebody else like what you're doing. So never forget that. All right, man. So my favorite part of the podcast. Well, I get to be a florist again and get these flowers in. But this one right here is special to me. I want to give flowers to all the people who just volunteer coaches who don't get paid to actually come out and coach these kids and mentor these kids, because it's hard because you can be doing so many other things, but you out here mentoring the youth, coaching the youth, teaching these girls and boys how to become productive people of society when they do come of age. And even the ones in high school, like I got my friends and my family who coach and stuff like that, and I admire them because some facts that they don't have to do that. They choose to do that because it's something that's coming out of the kindness of their heart that they want to actually leave a major impact on these children. And when they become adults, that they'll never forget that, for instance, I'm gonna use my homeboy Reese. Shout out to Reese. Shout out to Jeremiah. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to my cousin Calvin, man. Real leaders in the community doing things for the kids in the community. We was at a game on Friday night, and we was all the way in Cocoa watching the game. He coached the team in Melbourne. I think it was Melbourne Hurricanes, something like that. Well, all them kids spoke to him, and it's amazing to see how the joy on these kids' eyes when they see Coach Reese. You know what I'm saying? Reese, you know what I'm saying, bro? You've been doing a wonderful job as a coach, man. I hope, like I told you before, bro, I'm hoping, I got big aspirations for you, and I'm hoping that it leads to something bigger than just being a coach. You know what I'm saying? Voluntary coach. I'm hoping that it takes you to heights beyond you never imagined. You know what I'm saying? Because you work hard for that, bro, and so did everybody else that's in the field too, man. I want to give y'all all a major shout out, because without y'all coming out and do that, who knows where a lot of these kids would be at, man. You know what I'm saying? They need the mentorship. You know what I'm saying? Whether a lot of people want to give y'all credit or not, some of these kids don't have father figures or mother figures or whatever in their life, and they need something like that. And for y'all, both men and women of all ages, to come out and actually want to be a part of that is truly amazing. So for y'all, I gotta tip my hat to y'all, man. It take a lot of patience and time, knowing that you're not getting paid to do this, but you're doing this out of the kindness of your heart. So shout out to every coach out there, voluntary, from grade school to high school to whatever level it is you on. Y'all out here doing what I call the Lord's work, because you don't have to do that. And I hope that one day it pays off for a lot of you men and women who are out here servicing your communities. And it's truly remarkable to see. Like I said, I'm always amazed when I see how much every single last one of my family members or friends who coach actually touch these kids, man. You'll be surprised, man. You know what I'm saying? They never forget that. Children never forget anything you did for them, especially when you put them in a position where they can become great, where they already been great throughout the years. So y'all just keep on keeping on. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to give y'all flowers, man. And I can't thank y'all enough for what y'all do for y'all respective communities, whether it's basketball, soccer, football, whatever sport it is that you actually coach in. Especially doing it for free, man. Like I said, there's so many other things you could be doing, but you definitely choose to take time out your busy schedule or whatever you got going on to help these kids become great. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you all, man. And I'm sure that the parents and whoever else appreciate y'all as well, man. So definitely hats off to y'all. All right, man. So now we come to a close, man. I appreciate you for tuning in to this podcast, man. It's been a blast actually sitting here, sharing this information with y'all, sharing these motivational words, and sharing these stories, man. You know, something that I'm glad I actually started. You know, it took me years to actually want to start this podcast. I was supposed to start this podcast maybe a couple years ago, but I'm here now. And it's a wonderful place to be in. I would never thought in a million years that I'll be the one hosting a podcast. You know what I'm saying? So it's been cool, man. It's definitely been cool. It's definitely been really cool to actually do this. So until next time, man, y'all stay cool like y'all always do. And I'll catch y'all on the next round. Peace.